Coming up on Hashtag That.
We're back with the latest Hollywood news updates. We've got everything from the Karate Kid spin-off film to Leonardo DiCaprio.
All that and more from Hamden to Hollywood. We're your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
From Hamden to Hollywood.
We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Welcome back to Hashtag That. I'm Mike Hanley.
And I'm Will Tier. Let's dive into some new Hollywood scoop.
Things this October are starting off stranger as an anonymous buyer buys the famous buyer's house from the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. The house is the on-screen home to Joyce Byer and her two sons, Will and Jonathan. The house sold for well over the owner's asking price of $300,000 by a client of Tri-County Real Estate in Savannah, Georgia. What are the client's plans for the house? To make a Stranger Things-themed Airbnb. The owner plans on decking out the house, recreating certain rooms to look like the show, and plans on turning some space into the Upside Down. If you love the show, be sure to add this Airbnb to the bucket list. Whenever a new spin-off movie or show is in the works, the original cast is usually kept up to date. However, that's not the case for the new Karate Kid spin-off movie coming in 2024. Ralph Macchio, known for his role as Daniel LaRusso in the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai franchises, has no new information about the movie besides knowing of the film's release. He has no idea about his involvement in the story, nor the rest of the cast, despite the studio confirming it will take place during the original storyline. Hopefully, fans will learn more about it soon.
Rumors among the Writers Guild of America has been confirmed the WGA will be planning to go on strike sometime in May. In May, their contract with major Hollywood producers expires, meaning their next contract will be up for debate. In said contract meeting, the WGA will be debating about the residuals they receive as the industry's move to streaming severely hurts residuals. Where writers would get $10,000 or so for a rerun of a network show, they get an actual $4 for a streaming show. Industry insiders predict that the strike will go through. It'll be just as big as the writer's strike back in 2007. Best foreign film at the Oscars are decided when their respective countries submit one movie from the calendar year. In a historic turn of events, Russia will be boycotting the Academy Awards. Russia won't be submitting due to increased tensions between them and the US over the invasion of Ukraine. Although this seems minor, it's part of a huge issue. This is a clear sign that the Russian government will be censoring a large part of their films and either shutting down or censoring film festivals in Russia. This will largely impact any arts critical of Russia to be completely lost to time.
A big New England tradition is the Big E Fair, and one of the best parts is all the food. Here to give us a Big E food review is Vanessa.
Hey hashtag, it's Vanessa, and I'm here to review some of my favorite foods at the Big E this year. Of course, the fair is widely known for its rides, animals, and many shops, but today I personally wanted to check out their food and how good it really was. To start off, the first place I headed to was the Butcher Boys. Here, they serve Italian sausage and steak and cheese sandwiches. I chose the steak and cheese sandwich, and let's just say the sandwich could have had a lot of potential. The steak was pretty dry, and there were way too many onions for my liking, but I'll give the Butcher Boys a solid 7 out of 10 for now. And maybe I'll try it again next time. The next place I headed to was Billy's Baked Potatoes. When I got there, I was surprised to see the huge variety of options. They had the regular, of course, bacon, cheese, and sour cream potatoes, but they also offered other things like a veggie potato that was full of just straight vegetables. The presentation was great, and just for Billy, I'll give the place a 9 out of 10. Next, I can't believe I'll say this, but I came in and tried the infamous roasted corn. The line to this place was around the corner when we left, but I'll honestly say it was worth it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still the very picky eater, but roasted corn did it for me. I tried the Parmesan cheese one, yes, the Parmesan cheese one, and I'll honestly give it a 9 out of 10 as well. The Parmesan honestly just gave something that the corn itself wasn't gonna give. Now, before I get to my personal favorite food of the trip, I just wanted to show some of the other options that I didn't get to try. One thing I found while walking around was a vegan food truck. Here they sold vegan burgers, fries, hot dogs, and more, and gave people who only eat vegan food a good option to eat. Another place I found was a truck that sold authentic Puerto Rican food, which gave many different options that were very nostalgic personally with my family and I, and gave other people a chance to try food from other cultures. Now to finish with my review, my favorite food of the Big E trip had to be my milkshake from the Place to Beach food truck. If you've ever been to the Place to Be restaurant, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I tried the Oreo pancake milkshake, which I'll definitely give a 10 out of 10. This honestly made the highlight of my day. I'll definitely be getting this again, but for now, those are my 5 favorite foods in the Big E, and I can't wait to try a lot more when I go back. That's all I have for you guys today, and until next time.
Thanks for that package. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Hope you enjoyed that little break because we have a great inside look of how Carly and Stas felt about Don't Worry, Darling.
Hey, hashtag, it's Stas. And it's Carly. And we went to see the film Don't Worry, Darling last weekend with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, directed by Olivia Wilde. So the movie basically revolves around Florence Pugh's character, Alice. She's married to Jack, Harry Styles' character. And basically they live in this like perfect utopian world. And like when the guys go off to work, the women stay home, they cook, they clean. So Florence Pugh's character, one day she just wanted to get out of the house. Like she didn't want to be in the house, so she just was like, I'm gonna go ride this trolley that basically takes them around town, all the different shops. And while she's on the trolley, she watches a plane crash. And when she sees the plane crash, she gets off and she goes to investigate it. But one thing that's important to note, in this town, the one rule is like the women are not allowed to leave the town. And when she walks to find the plane crash, she ends up at what we are assuming to be headquarters. And basically, she walks up to it, she touches it, her head snaps back, and that's when like everything starts to go wrong. It's almost like, you know, she like has these hallucinations. She tries to talk to either Jack about it, or she tries to talk to Bunny, who's played by Olivia Wilde, who's her best friend and like her comfort person in this film. And they're all basically just like, no, you're crazy.
We saw the movie like 5 days ago, and we are still talking about it.
I still have so many things that I need to know, so many plot holes. But I also think, like, with that to be said, like, yes, it was confusing, but it was beautifully shot.
Oh my god, it was gorgeous.
It was one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. Set design was amazing.
It was
costume
gorgeous.
design was amazing.
The costumes were so perfect for each of the actors and each of their characters' personalities, I think.
Despite the reviews,
I think the acting was pretty strong.
the acting was amazing.
Yes.
I thought it was, personally.
Florence Pugh, of course, was incredible. We know that she could do a psychological thriller.
We all don't need to talk about that. I will say this. Harry Styles is not a bad actor.
I don't think
so
so either. He did a great job of
did an
conveying his
amazing job.
emotions. I think that they all did great with the writing they were given.
Oh yeah.
Going into my next point, the writing and direction was not strong. I don't think. I just was always waiting to be disturbed. And nothing was happening. Because they were trying way too hard. But all in all, good concept, bad execution, I would say. I wouldn't see it again, but I'm happy I saw it.
I am happy I saw it.
Thanks for sticking with us for the movie review, and I hope you all see it. So,
Yeah.
until next time.
Okay.
A lot has happened this week in the entertainment world. Here to tell us all about it is Emily McManaman with this week's trending topics.
Hey guys, this here I'm Week with Trending Topics. Let's get started. Last week, Ryan Reynolds dropped what may be the hottest Marvel news of the year. Reynolds released a video on his social medias announcing not only the confirmation of Deadpool 3, but surprising fans with the return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Theories immediately began to flood the internet after the initial release of this video, so much so that Reynolds and Jackman filmed another video to explain various questions about the movie circling social media. Although this video ended up being a prank where loud music was played over the actors' discussions, it did confirm that Deadpool 3 will not be messing with canon events within the MCU. Despite Reynolds and Jackman purposely leaving questions unanswered, Deadpool 3 is likely to be the highlight of new Marvel content in 2024. Netflix's newest film, Blonde, starring Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe, is receiving less than stellar views. This movie was originally posed and advertised as a recreation of the life of Marilyn Monroe. However, critics and fans are shaming the film for just being another exploitation of the late actress. Although Armas herself is getting great reviews and received a 14-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, people are calling the movie cruel for seemingly depicting the traumatization of Marilyn Monroe. As said by Justin Chang, a film critic for the Los Angeles Times, the film isn't really about Marilyn Monroe, it's about making her suffer. Fashion enthusiasts all over the world are raving about this year's Paris Fashion Week. Bella Hadid is being named the highlight of the event after having a white latex dress spray painted onto her body mid-show. Kylie Jenner is also receiving lots of love and praise for the deep V neckline midnight blue velvet dress she wore to one of the shows. Other notable models and actresses such as Ashley Graham, Halle Bailey, Hailey Bieber, Cher, and Gigi Hadid were also all in attendance. That's all I have for this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
This year in the Overwatch League, the Boston Uprising is well on their way to the grand finals. Here to tell us all about it is Haley and Will.
Hey hashtag, I'm Haley.
And I'm Will Tier.
And today we're going to be talking about the Overwatch League and specifically the Boston Uprising.
And their chances for the playoffs.
I love the Overwatch League because it's a really entertaining way to watch people play a video game that I love, and it has a really great community around it.
To explain, the Overwatch League is the esports league created to play Overwatch. So there are multiple teams around the globe for their respective cities, much like you see for any other professional sport. But what we're here to talk about is the Boston Uprising.
Will and I are both huge fans of the Boston Uprising because we're both from Massachusetts, and it's been really fun to watch their underdog story from the first season all the way up until now.
They've had a pretty rough time, to say the least, throughout most of the season. But there's been some recent changes and some recent wins, which mean they can totally make the playoffs.
One of the biggest changes was with their coaching staff. The Boston Uprising have definitely had an up and down career throughout their entire history in the Overwatch League, starting off in the first season, having a great track record, and then when they let their head coach go, they were in a bit of a rough patch. And finally this year, we have changed the coaching staff up again, and it looks like this change is for the better.
But the other big change is putting my favorite player, Punk, back in.
Punk has been out for a little bit and sidelined for reasons we don't really know because of the coaching staff. But most games that Punk is in, he wins for Boston. And now that he's back, he's been winning. So before we get to the playoffs, they have 4 games left, which will very much decide where we think we're going to get into the playoffs and how well they're going to do. So our next match will be against Washington Justice, Paris Eternal, the New York Excelsior, and the Los Angeles Gladiators. So how are you feeling with those?
I feel pretty good about those. I think Los Angeles Gladiators is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult of a match, but I think we have been on a really good upswing lately, so who knows? Boston Uprising is known for their upsets.
Post halftime for these matches, anything can happen.
Be sure to watch the Uprising's next game this Friday to see if they continue their winning streak.
Thank you for watching, and that's all from us. Stay tuned for some Hollywood news updates after this commercial break.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced House Hunter. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
We're back with the Hollywood News Update, and here to spill all the latest news on all things Hollywood, here with us this week is Grace Doyle. What do you got for us, Grace?
What's up, guys? We have so much news straight out of Hollywood, so let's jump right into our Hollywood News Update. The Try Guys have severed their ties with co-founder Ned Fulmer after revealing he had participated in an affair. The group, which gained popularity through their BuzzFeed video series, released a statement to their socials stating that they do not see a path forward together. Fulmer released his own statement, saying that he lost focus after participating in a so-called consensual workplace relationship. The news has shocked masses online, especially given that Fulmer crafted his online persona around being a loving husband. A lot of people are comparing Ned Fulmer's cheating scandal to Adam Levine and how it blew up. What do you guys think it says about our culture that a YouTuber's cheating scandal overshadowed a major celebrity's?
Well, it's kind of interesting because we see that YouTube culture, especially in the streaming culture, has really kind of taken things over. And it's interesting because we used to worship celebrities who were musicians or things like that, but now we have smaller content creators going out and actually, changing things up. It's a real tragic thing to see when we realize that people like him are really just humans, and we have to separate, their deity
They're
from.
not idols.
They're not
completely
idols.
agree.
They're just people.
Yeah. I also just have to note that's an interesting, changing of the guard of just going from what we see of this traditional celebrity going on to an internet celebrity, and how that's become mixed. This was like one of the biggest news stories. It was bigger than Adam Levine's, in a way. So it's just interesting on where sort of the dialogue has changed from traditional to to internet celebrities, and now they've just mixed and they're just all celebrities, which is really interesting.
It really is.
Opens up a window for people, but also it deifies people that might not deserve it.
What else you got for us, Grace?
In other news, Leonardo DiCaprio and Gigi Hadid have made headlines after being spotted together during Paris Fashion Week. The news comes 2 weeks after being seen together during New York Fashion Week, and only a month after DiCaprio split with supermodel Camilla Carone. The two have yet to publicly address their relationship status, but sources have reported that Leo has been asking about Gigi, wanting to get to know her. What do you guys think? Is this relationship just for show?
I don't think it's just for show, but this is part of a long line of people that DiCaprio's dated and then broken up with. So I don't think it's just for show at all, but I do think that unfortunately it might not last due to his track record. For whatever those reasons are, we're not sure, but that's just kind of how that goes.
When it comes down to it, even when it is just Hollywood, in my opinion, there's no way that a relationship can just be for show. Because at the end of the day, there's still some type of connection. I can't say intimate connection, but just some type of connection that draws two people together like that. So it can't be fake, but it can't be 100% real
Of course,
either.
yes.
Okay, what else you got?
I completely agree. Given Leo's track record, we're not sure how long it will last, but hopefully, good luck to them. Anyways, Saturday Night Live is back, and this past weekend, Miles Teller kicked off season 48 with musical guest Kendrick Lamar. This was the first episode in what the crew is calling a transition year, as many beloved cast members such as Kate McKinnon, Adie Bryant, and Pete Davidson have departed. One sketch revolved around the popular app Be Real, while another titled Send Something Normal saw singer Adam Levine, played by Mikey Day, on a game show about sending appropriate messages on Instagram. This was Teller's first time hosting and Lamar's third SNL performance. Did you guys watch the show? What are your thoughts about this upcoming season?
Yeah, so I watch SNL a lot. I'm a big fan. I think, once an episode comes out, everyone goes like, oh, it's not funny as usual. We also need to remember that this is sketch comedy. They write the week of every week for the entire television season. So that's a lot of work, and not all of them are going to be bangers. And that's just what's going to happen. Especially for a transitional year where a lot of the cast members we can rely on for great comedy, they're gone. So it's just a transitional year. I think Miles Teller was a fine host. I think he did his job. But yeah, Mike, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, same as yours. I mean, Miles Teller, you look at him, he's a big movie star, but he's not really a name in comedy. And on top of that, the people we depend on for comedy, it's they're all gone too. They've gone on to bigger and better things. So seeing SNL in this state of limbo, kind of, it's going to be an interesting season for sure. What do you think, Grace?
Personally, I am also an SNL fan, and I can't wait for this transitional year. That's all I have for this week's Hollywood News Update. I'm Grace Doyle. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Grace. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Thanks for sticking with us. Audrey and Julia are here with an exclusive interview with Oscar Guerra.
Hey, hashtag, it's Audrey Scafati.
And I'm Julia Schnarr. Today we're going to be interviewing Dr. Oscar Guerra about his Emmy award-winning filmmaking and how he makes an impact.
He's here to talk about his PBS documentary, Live, Love, and the Virus. And we got a chance to talk about his documentary and the importance of storytelling in general.
Hi Q30, I'm here with Dr. Guerra, and now I'm going to ask him some questions. What is so important about telling stories that you shared in this film?
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
First of all. I think that we're all storytellers, you know, regardless of what type of stories we tell. I think that just the fact that we're able to share a story and to share this experience is just fascinating. It's so gratifying. In my case, particularly, I try to do a lot of stories about immigration, because that's one of the themes that I've worked with. But just about, you know, what it means to be a human, you know, try to connect at a human level. Those are the type of stories that I feel very inclined to do. Maybe you and I are very different, but they're one way that we're going to be able to connect. So finding that one element, I think that's worth pursuing in any type of story.
That's amazing. Great answer to that. You talked about a lot of power and media and filmmaking and how it all goes together. How does that play into what you make?
I see this as a responsibility. You know, the media is so powerful.
That's true.
And, you know, like I was saying, like even for my students, I'm like, if you have one assignment, make sure that you do really good, because you are able to immortalize a piece by documenting it.
Yes.
You know, no matter how big or small it is, you're able to, someone is going to listen to that, and maybe not that many people listen to that, but it's an opportunity for you to start training that work ethic. Not right now, like you guys are working with little projects, but I'm assuming that in 5-10 years, I'm going to be saying your name, you know, like out there, like being a big producer or an anchor.
Yeah.
And everything starts little, but it starts.
It adds up.
It adds up, and that's why media is so powerful, because that's the way in which we communicate. Like especially nowadays, it's oral stories all the time, and the rise of documentary.
Yes, I love documentaries.
It's a privilege to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Awesome. My last question was, what is some advice that you have for young filmmakers? People who want to start out, what's your advice to them?
Well, the first piece of advice is make it personal. You know, make sure that you tell a story that hits home, where you can be one of the characters, because you're going to have a lot of access, because you can control your own schedule and your own agenda. The second thing that I mentioned is that you have to be very open to constructive criticism. Sometimes it's hard at the beginning because you're like, man, I produced this amazing piece and it's the best thing ever. Well, it's only going to get better when you start getting feedback from people that know what they're doing. And the third thing that I would say is work with people that you respect and that you think they're better than you. Because if you do that, it only gets better.
Thank you so much for being here. That's it for #that, guys. Bye.
Okay, now 2022 has been a big year for film, and Mike and I have seen most of the films that hit theaters. So this week we'll be playing a game of Flop or Not, the 2022 movie edition. Okay, first up we got Elvis. So, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, flop. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this movie, it looks great, great editing. Yeah, well, not actually that good editing. It's a lot of editing, and it will win an award for it. But at the end of the day, I just didn't enjoy myself. It was just so much that I just really tuned out. But I mean, I guess by box office numbers, this was not a flop. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, box office-wise, did amazing.
Yep.
Everything else, in my opinion, it didn't.
Yeah,
so,
no,
you know.
I'm so with you. I'm so with you.
Let's move on. All right, so up next we got Top Gun Maverick.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1,
Not.
Yeah. This was so good. It's Top Gun. I mean, like, across the board, everyone loves it. Even if, like, you weren't a super big Top Gun fan like me, I don't really like the original Top Gun. In love with Top Gun.
You don't like the original Top Gun?
No, not really.
Fiend.
But what do you think about Top Gun?
I love Top Gun. The original Top Gun was great. I love the original Top Gun. But Top Gun Maverick was also really good. I love the editing. Miles Teller as Rooster.
Unbelievable.
Perfect.
And looks exactly like him.
Exactly. It's crazy.
All right, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, we're just going to move on to the next one.
Our next one is Jordan Peele's Nope. 3, 2, 1, not. Okay, Nope bangs. So good. So good. You know, a lot of people were up in arms of like, oh, it's bad because there's so many ideas going on, and this movie had a lot of ideas going on.
So many.
But the craft, the way, like I rewatched with a few friends, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. I'm watched with a few friends Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then I went back and watched Nope. It's just doing Close Encounters. It's just doing the Spielberg thing. It's perfect, and he's one of the few filmmakers left that can make blockbusters on the biggest scale, but bring the artistry in. So even if it didn't work for everyone, the craft is immaculate.
We thought it was just a normal alien movie, and then we sit down and we watch it, and it just breaks so many boundaries and barriers, and it just changes everything.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
horror movies coming
Let's go to
up.
the next one. The Batman. 3, 2, 1,
Flop.
Whoa!
I did not like the Batman. I did not like the Batman. I did not like the Batman. I didn't enjoy myself at all watching that movie. It was just, I would see certain parts of it, I would go, why is this happening? Why am I here? Why is Robert Pattinson pretending to be this bad boy when he's obviously not?
Mr. Hanley, you're a dear friend, but not now. I cannot do that. I loved the Batman. Just the fact that we got like narration, it was all like noir-like. I was so in. I've been waiting for a noir Batman forever, and they really got it.
Yeah, me too, but that wasn't good. They could have done it better. It's just like Robert Pattinson sounded like a child doing a Batman impression.
Oh, man.
It was just like,
okay.
I didn't
we're
like
gonna have to settle this afterwards.
No,
after the show,
but I'm just saying this right now. I'm not backing down. And I never will.
Okay. Well, you know, that's your opinion. You're allowed to be wrong.
Oh, how dare you? It's terrible.
All right. Well, to close out the show, we'd like to highlight some Monday's motivational stories to kickstart the week.
After Hurricane Ian made landfall in Florida last week, many were forced to leave their waterfront homes for safety from the hurricane. It ravaged the streets, destroyed houses, and caused millions of property damage. However, Ian also caused lots of environmental concern, dumping piles of garbage onto the beach. These piles of trash motivated two men, Manny Rianda and Natanzo, to do their part. The pair, both Florida natives, took to the beach, clearing 310 pounds of trash. They waited for the winds to calm down, then armed with shovels and gloves, cleared out pounds of lobster traps, mariner line, and other pieces of harmful debris that got caught up in the ocean. After collecting, they contacted proper authorities to get the garbage taken care of correctly. The hope to inspire others to do their part to keep their beaches clean.
John Cena has a world record for the most wishes granted via the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Cena is well known with staying with children and their families long after the required time spent to fulfill a wish. He buys dinner, plays video games, and just hangs out with the family. His fans he's helped more than 650 individual wishes and plans to do many more in the future.
That's all we have for this week on #that.
Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts and download the Q30 app on the App Store to stay up to date.
I'm Mike Hanley.
And I'm Will Tier. Thank you for watching. A hashtag that from the producers, talent, and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.